You wrecked your bowl. I saw you do it. This is what's called civil disobedience. I think I better keep the dog on his leash because there's definitely people with horses out on this trail today. But what I wanted to talk about was the different places where you can rest and or camp. Because at this point in my journey, I've sort of experienced almost everything except staying on somebody else's private land. Like if you're going to visit a friend and they allow you to set up somewhere on their property. But I've experienced everything else, and I'm going to talk about I'm going to go from my least favorite to my favorite. And some of these only apply if you have a van that's pretty stealthy. And I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed having more options, and I really like having a stealth vehicle. I'm going to have to think very long and hard about how I can keep it stealthy when and if I put a HVAC system on there, or climate control system, whatever you want to call it. I haven't really seen something that's perfectly stealthy in terms of providing air conditioning and possibly heat. They're getting better. There are definitely some more options, and some options that are lower profile than others. But I really do want to retain the stealthy appearance of the van to keep all my options open, because all these different options for where you can stay has a role. My least favorite option would be a private business that's not intended for travelers. For example, a Walmart parking lot or a Cracker Barrel parking lot. And I know that some of these businesses will tolerate overnight rest in a vehicle, but it's location specific. It's basically up to the management for most of these places. And not only do you have to guess if you're being a nuisance or not, or if they don't really want you there, it's also not that pleasant. I mean, there's so many other options. Why would you feel strongly about staying in a Walmart parking lot? I know that Walmart, the founder, was a enthusiastic RV person and wanted to have welcoming options for RV travelers, and that's sort of why this convention exists. But you really want to go into the Walmart and track down the manager and ask if you're in the right place or if you're welcome, and then they kind of hesitantly say yes, and it's just not worth it to me. It's not like you're getting some fabulous experience by going through the motions. So that's my least favorite, although I have done it, and in a pinch, it is what it is, and hopefully you park in the right place and nobody bothers you. My next is a related one, which is a private business that is intended for overnight travelers, such as a Travel America Center or a Pilot or a Love's truck stop. These places, especially if you have, some of them welcome RVs, some of them welcome van expediters, they welcome truckers. They will tell you where to park, and they say you're welcome to sleep in your vehicle. Just park in the right spot. So that's fine. Now I have sort of a van life superpower, which is I can sleep through almost anything. So I've been at a travel center and parked right next to the exit and entrance intended for the big rigs, and I sleep like a baby. I know a lot of people can't do that. So that's an option that's available to me, just because I fall asleep easily, and once I'm out, I'm out. So, and my van, of course, isn't insulated, so it would probably be too hard to sleep for many people. I think the weather report may have lied to us. It's definitely in the 30s in here. We blew it. Now we're cold. 6:30 in the morning. We don't want to get out of bed. Even the husky mix wants to be under the covers. And there's ice in the windshield. All these walls should be insulated, and they're not. My nose is cold. And your nose is cold. But those two you can kind of lump together. Private land, where they want you to stay, or sometimes where they reluctantly allow you to stay. My next favorite is parking on the street. So parking on the street, outside of a couple of apartment buildings, outside of a couple of hotels, maybe on Main Street, USA. You just kind of pull up late, keep your lights low, and even though it's not legal or legitimate, if you're in a stealth vehicle, your lights are off, you're sleeping, who's gonna care? If someone called the police or the sheriff's deputy, they'd probably tell them to relax, nobody cares. And that's a nice option, go out for dinner, tour Main Street, get a cup of coffee. Oh, which way am I supposed to go here? I think we'll go this way. Cosmo. Oh, he's tangled up my wire here. Let's see. Parking on the side of the street. Again, if you're stealthy, nobody knows if you're parked there from one hotel or the other apartment building, or you're doing some maintenance on one of the buildings. Nobody knows and nobody cares. So that's lovely, and I do enjoy that atmosphere. Some of these little downtowns, and I like patronizing them because some of these downtowns are really kind of struggling to hang on, and they are pretty adorable and fun. I guess my next favorite thing would be paid campgrounds, especially the states. The state campgrounds are really cool. I've paid $6, I've paid $10. Sometimes you have facilities, trash removal, water spigots. It's pretty nice. And that's where you can really draw the distinction between camping and resting, which is, many states, is an important distinction. You're allowed to rest in your vehicle, sometimes overnight, as long as you are not camping. So what they really mean is, don't put out all your crap, right? So if you're in a rest area and they allow you to stay there even up to 24 hours, it's pretty great. But don't set up a bunch of crap, don't make a mess. I guess I should have listed rest areas next. Rest areas can be great. I'd much rather stay at a rest area than, say, a Pilot truck stop. Just because many of them, especially in middle America, many of them are really pleasant. It's like camping in a little park, and they have some facilities for you. Usually they're a little bit off the highway, so the noise is diminished. And some states, their policies indicate that they're really glad to have you there. And oops, I gotta do a spin for the dog, for the leash. So why not take advantage of that? They have picnic tables, barbecue grills. It's great. So big fan of that. even for the 24-hour ones, I can wake up, walk the dog, do my morning routine, and put in half a day of work on the computer before I take off. All right, now we'll get to state campgrounds. Whenever you can camp, which is to say put out all your stuff, make yourself a home, make a big mess, do some cleaning, everything like that, it's always preferable, right? Camping is always superior to resting. No time limit, put out all your stuff, and make yourself a little home for a day or two, or much longer even. Now, you can camp in the state campground, and sometimes they're very affordable and get all the benefits of that camping, and often meet some nice folks. Typically, when I'm with the dog, it puts me out there, and I typically meet other dog people, and it's just nice to chat with people from other states. And people at these types of campgrounds, RV people, they tend to be really friendly folks, laid back, willing to help you in a pinch. It's just really nice. All right, now the best scenario, the favorite thing you can do is, of course, have that camping experience, spread out, make yourself at home, but have it be free. And that's what I've been doing currently. So I'm in Arizona, southeast of Tucson, and last night I was on BLM land, and the night before that I was in a separate area in BLM land, really close to Tucson. Basically the closest BLM camping area to Tucson, something called Sydney Hill. And in the BLM office I was warned. They basically said, because it's so close to the city, be careful there. You know, there's a lot of transient folks. Sometimes there's people there doing nefarious activities, even like drug trafficking, like bad deals. But I was there, and everybody just seemed to be like me, just happy to have a place to stay, and I didn't see anybody doing anything naughty. I'm trying to do something here. I heard you the first time. I saw everything from really nice Airstream trailers, travel trailers, to great big motorhomes, to people who appeared to be sleeping in the back of their truck with a tarp over it. You know, everything in between. And it was just fine. No problems whatsoever. People were quiet. It was mostly clean. I had no problem. But last night, I was in basically where I am now, which is to say Las Ciénegas BLM conservation area. So I will say, if it's your first time taking advantage of the public lands under the administration of the BLM, it's pretty confusing, especially if you're in a BLM monument or a BLM conservation area. You look at the map and there's so many different squares about the private land that's encircled, or the state land trust, which has different rules. Then you'll see some areas are designated camp areas. Some places are allowed for camping. Some places are only for dispersed camping. And even though you're on BLM, a lot of the areas are off limits. So if you are going to take advantage of the BLM camping, I advise you to do your homework first. Oh, I saw that stick. I thought it was a rattlesnake. Oh man, that totally spooked me. I thought this stick was a rattlesnake. I think they're pretty sleepy. It was quite cold last night. Can't imagine I'll see any unless they're ready for some sunshine and warmth. What was my point? My point was you taking advantage of the BLM camping. You really got to do your homework. You got to look at the map really carefully, read the whole key, talk to someone at the BLM office, maybe talk to another person in the field. It's not as simple as you might think. Especially, I guess they have 3 types. There's BLM conservation area, BLM monument, and then BLM wilderness. And I think the wilderness is the one where there's a lot less rules. But there's a lot of rules, a lot of squares, a lot of different map sections, and be prepared to do your homework. That being said, it is my favorite. You get to camp, see this beautiful land, pay nothing, and in most places there's a 14-day time limit. But every area has its own rules. It's not a free-for-all. And you see people camping in some things and other YouTube channels, I don't think they really get to the bottom of the fact that if you're not willing to do your homework and be studious about it, it's going to be very confusing. And for me, it's been confusing. But public lands, meaning national forests or Bureau of Land Management, is my favorite. It's the best way to go, despite the little bit of effort that it takes to make sure that you're getting that free camping legitimately and that you're not damaging the system for everybody. It's pretty cool that this is available for you and me, and let's hope it stays that way.